The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
How we've been working with 504s to bridge loan the SBA funding, which one of the things we started to do on our end.
Right.
And that provides the CDs, the banks, with a little bit of space.
Oh, okay.
They can approve the deal.
Is that the program with the CD?
Yeah.
All right. Hi, good morning. My name is Joanna Nelson, and I am a Finance Development Specialist with the Economic Development Department on the Finance Development team. And thank you so much for joining us today for our monthly Finance Development webinar series. We're really excited to be here today with Michael Altamirano with the Small Business Administration. And also joining us is Juan Torres, who is the Finance Development Team Leader here at the Economic Development Team. So hopefully you all can hear us. Okay, we're trying to incorporate our webcam so you can see us. We're coming to you from Santa Fe this morning, but hopefully you can start putting the face to the name, so whenever you see Michael or Juan out there, you can ask them any questions. Before we get started, I did want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded, and if you have any questions, we will be following up at the end of the session. We'll get your questions, and we might take those as we go, but you can enter those into the questions box in the right hand of your screen. You should see that, and you can type those in as you go. And then, because it is being recorded, we will put this link on our YouTube page, and you can access that. If you have to step off, you can access it anytime. So I did want to take a question. We were curious, and feel free to type your answer into the chat box. But if anyone out there you have a business or you're interested in starting a business, feel free. We want to just get kind of a feel of who our audience is. You can type the answers if you're representing a business today or you'd like to start one. You can just type that into the chat, and that would be really helpful for us. And I did want to give you a little bit of background about what we do here in the Finance Development team before Michael gets started. But we provide a variety of services that are all related to finance development. So finance development relates to business development, and it relates to community development too. So we do a lot of connecting to financial resources. We can look at financial packaging. If you are interested in getting some type of a commercial loan, we can review those financials that you put into place. We can look at incentives that are available for companies. So that's tax incentives, maybe incentives for state funding programs, and we can provide a variety of financial analysis, whether it's community or business. And all of our services are free, so feel free to reach out to us anytime. We do manage some financial development programs. These are listed here on this slide. The Local Economic Development Act, we have Funded Community, Funded Small Business, New Markets Tax Credits, New Mexico Collateral Assistance Program, the Rural Efficient Business Program, and Opportunity Zones. And to give you a little bit background about Funded Community, this is a program that exists statewide. We hear presentations from communities that have economic development or infrastructure projects, and at these meetings we gather together funders that represent agencies, whether on a state level or a federal level, but they all have funding programs. They gather together quarterly, and we hear presentations from communities that are looking for financing or funding to complete their project. So at that meeting, they're able to connect with the funders directly, get get feedback, get help about where to go, how to navigate funding sources. So this is a really useful group. Here are some eligible projects that they can be business development projects, like incubators, industrial parks, housing, infrastructure development, downtown revitalization. You can apply online, and in this presentation that we'll send out, it'll have the link and you can access those. I think our next meeting is in August. And something that we're really excited about is that we are branching out under the funded program to incorporate small businesses. So we are getting involved with how can we make connections for small businesses to financing opportunities. And we're doing that through two ways. We are hosting in-person finance fairs, which we just had one in Taos last week. And what that means is that if you're a business and you're looking to get a business loan, you can attend one of these fairs, and at the fair, for example, in Taos, we had about 25 different lenders there, as well as resource providers. You can get direct feedback, and you can shop your project. You can meet with the lenders face to face, see where the fit is. So our next one is coming up in Albuquerque, and that'll be in early November. So if you didn't make the one in Taos, hope to see you at the one in November. And that, of course, is open to the public. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur or if you have a business, you're free to attend, as well as if you are a lender or if you're a resource provider, like one of the SBA's technical assistance providers, you can attend as well and have a table to represent your organization. The other component of this is we are launching a small business finance finder. So this is an online portal that you can submit your project online, give us some basic information about, I'm a restaurant, I'm in Raton, I'm looking for $100,000 to purchase equipment, and then we'll shoot that out to our list of lenders and resource providers all over the state, and then they can follow up with you and contact you if it's a good fit. So that's a great opportunity. SBA, maybe Michael will talk about the very similar program that they have. But this way it kind of gets the word out to it's just another channel to connect you with finance providers. And then as well, if you're a lender, if you're a small business resource provider, I'd encourage you to sign up for that email list so you can receive the financing inquiries. And all these links are live, so when we send this out, you can access it. And then these are the funded resources. So if you're a funded community, you want to apply, there's the link. We have a finance resource map. So if you have a project, whether you're a business or community, you can scroll through these categories: business resources, community development, economic development, housing, all these different components that go into play in a project. You can filter down and find applicable funding sources, grants, loans, any type of programs. And then if you want to access our webinars, we have a whole list of topics that we've covered. You can access those on our YouTube channel. So, and I didn't see anyone type in any, if you are a business or you want to start a business, feel free to type those in as you go. And then I see that we have some questions coming in. So we'll get to those as we go. So, Michael, if you want to go ahead and get started and talk about what you guys do.
Well, good morning, everyone. I appreciate you all taking the time this morning to join us. My name is Michael Altamirano, and I'm a lender relations specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration. We are a federal agency out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. We cover the whole state of New Mexico. And today, what I'll be covering is all of the different resources available to you through the SBA. Some of you may be aware of SBA and its programs. Others may think we're the Southern Baptist Association. But I'm here to tell you that we do have resources available to entrepreneurs and small businesses like yourself. So I want to go ahead and move forward. So this question here, what's your why? If starting a small business was easy and running a business was easy, we would all have our own business. We would all be our own boss. But the truth is, the reality is, it's very challenging and it is not easy. And that's why some of us have 9-to-5 jobs. So you really have to ask yourself, whether you're a startup business, an existing business, the question you want to always ask yourself is, what's your why? You have to have a reason to why you're in business. And so I pose that question just to give you a moment to think about what your reason for being in business is. So at the SBA, our goal, of course, is to ignite change and spark action to small businesses around the country, specifically here in New Mexico where we are. Our goal is to help those entrepreneurs either start, grow, expand, or recover on those businesses, and that's what we'll be covering today. So the first thing I want to cover with SBA, we have what we call our 3 C's, what we're known for, and that's capital, contracting, and counseling. And so the first thing I'm going to go over here is our Resource Partner Network, which is the counseling portion of those 3 C's. So the SBA, what we do is we fund several resource partners throughout the state to provide one-on-one technical assistance to entrepreneurs. They help from various degrees of whether you're looking to start up a business and develop a business plan, financial projections, to helping an existing business with marketing, accounting, things of that nature, bookkeeping. They also help businesses that may be struggling. Maybe you started a business and early on you were very successful and you've hit a plateau. These small business counselors can work with you to look at some of those challenges and help you overcome them. Again, they are funded in part by the SBA. We have over 1,400 partners nationwide. And you'll see there at the bottom of the page, you can find your local resource partners by visiting the SBA.gov local webpage. And I'll cover each of the ones that we have here in the state of New Mexico. So the first one we have is SCORE. SCORE is one of our SBA resource partners, and they are there again to help aspiring entrepreneurs or existing small business. SCORE is a 100% volunteer program, so they do not have paid staff. They are all volunteers. Typically what you'll find with SCORE is they are going to be individuals that are retired, either from high-level executive positions or they were business owners themselves. So they have that real-world experience, okay? They can provide one-on-one mentoring, and it's completely free. There is no charge for their one-on-one mentoring. They also provide various workshops throughout the year on various topics, from QuickBooks to marketing to starting a business. Some of those workshops are completely free. Others, there is a minimal fee. And the reason for that is they do bring in guest experts from the outside to provide those presentations. But one of the things here with SCORE is the way they work is because they are all volunteer, they don't have regular office hours. So with them, when you're interested in signing up for a mentor, you will apply online, submit your little application on your interest in finding a mentor. And what they do is they attempt to pair you with someone that has a similar background. So if you come from a manufacturing background, your business manufactures widgets, they're going to work to try and pair you with somebody that has a manufacturing background. Now, the case is there's not always going to be someone with that specific background, but they can reach out through the network nationwide and help you find someone that can assist you. These are the local resources here. So since we are here in Santa Fe, there's the location here for the Santa Fe SCORE. There's also one in Las Cruces, and as you saw on the last page, one in Albuquerque. So they have 3 locations across the state of New Mexico. Our next resource partner is the Small Business Development Center, SBDC New Mexico. They have 19 locations located across the state, so they're one of our largest resource partners as far as coverage. They're typically found in our higher education institutions, okay, throughout the state. Very similar to SCORE, what they're doing is they provide one-on-one technical assistance for small businesses. Whether it's startup, existing, growing business, they're there to help you. All of their counseling is 100% free, okay? They do also provide workshops throughout the year on various topics, and some of those do have minimal cost, but for the type of education you're getting from some of those workshops, it's well worth your investment. The SBDC, they do have set office hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, so they do have staffed employees. They are not volunteer. So you're always welcome to walk in, give them a call, and set up an appointment. And I can't put the exact address of every single one. It would take up too many slides because of how many locations they have. But you'll see here, these are the cities where you will find a small business development center here in New Mexico.
And Michael, Carolyn Arias said that there are several SBDCs on this call.
Oh,
So,
good, good. I'm also the SBDC project officer as well, so I do oversee the compliance portion. So,
And in terms of just the locations, all the SBDCs are located within community colleges in New Mexico. So you can contact your local community college to find the SBDC in your area.
that's correct. We also have a third resource partner, and this is West. West is a women's business center. So initially, they were founded to assist women entrepreneurs. That's not the case. I mean, they still assist women entrepreneurs, but they help everyone. It's not just only for women. They help anybody out there interested in one-on-one technical assistance. But West has 6 locations located throughout the state. And again, very similar in what they're doing is providing comprehensive training and technical assistance to small businesses.
So, can I see the?
And very similar to SCORE, and the SBDC West also provides workshops throughout the year on various topics. One of the things I want to mention about our resource partners here in New Mexico, we're very unique when compared to other states out there in that all of our resource partners have a very good working relationship, a partnership. They work together. They're not in competition. They have no problem crossing lines and working with one another. So that's one of the huge advantages of our resource partners here is there's nothing to say you can't work with one and not the other. A lot of times they will encourage you to work with multiple. But I wanted to bring that up because these workshops that are offered throughout the year, our resource partners work very well together. To not be redundant and offer the same trainings over and over and over, they communicate with each other and determine, okay, this is the type of training we're going to be doing. And then they work around that and offer trainings so they're not duplicated. But West, like I said, has 6 locations throughout the state. These are the cities where you can find a women's business center. And then finally, our fourth resource partner is what we call VBOC, and that's a Veteran Business Outreach Center. We have one located here in the state of New Mexico, there in Albuquerque. Not every state in the country has a VBOC, so we're very fortunate to have one located here in our state. A couple years ago, they were awarded as the top VBOC in the country, so they're very good at what they do. And their mission is to assist veteran-owned small business or entrepreneurs that are veterans looking to start their business. They can help talk to you about the different veteran resources available to you, and also work on connecting you to our resource partners by providing referrals. So if you are a veteran interested in starting a business or an existing veteran-owned small business, I highly encourage you to reach out to the VBOC and find what resources might be available to you. And then, of course, you have us, your local SBA district office in Albuquerque, New Mexico. There's our information there for you. So the other thing we talked about, the other C of SBA is contracting. So some of you may be aware that SBA has specific contracting programs, others may not. But the SBA, we do have a specific program called our 8A Federal Contracting Program. And that is specifically for small disadvantaged businesses, okay, located in the state of New Mexico. The interesting thing with federal contracting, there is a requirement by law to provide a certain amount of contract opportunities to small businesses. So if you are an existing small business, maybe you're looking to grow and expand, government contracting is a great way to start growing your business and get into a different realm. If you've been working in the private sector, private entities, government contracting can open the doors for added revenues. It is very technical, but we do have folks in our office that can assist you with how to get into government contracting. Because federal contracting can be very profitable for you. Last year alone, over 23% of federal contracts were awarded to small businesses. So the SBA, our local, we call them business opportunity specialists. They're in the Albuquerque district office. They can help evaluate your business and find out if you're ready for government contracting. They can talk to you, uncover various opportunities through contracting. And again, not all contracting is federal government. There's municipalities, there's the school districts, there's various other contracting avenues. But here at the SBA, we can help you determine whether or not you're ready for federal government contracting.
One of the opportunities associated with contracting is actually subcontracting. A lot of companies that we've spoken with, they'll say we're too small, we really don't have the capacity. But you can partner with a primary contractor, and that's the best way to get into that network. We worked with a company, PMI in Española, and they were a tier 2 subcontractor, and now they're a tier 1 contractor because they got the contract over a period of 5 years. So there is an opportunity to enter that business by subcontracting through a primary.
And I don't want to bore you to death with facts and figures, but I just want to give you an idea of the contracts that are out there. You may think, well, I'm a small business, I don't have a shot at getting a contract. But that 8A program that I talked about with SBA, it's for small disadvantaged business. It's a 9-year program. You apply to get into that program with SBA, and our business opportunity specialists will act as your mentor for 9 years, helping you to get into the government contracting world. That 8A program alone, 5% of all government contracts have to go to 8A small businesses. So when you take the total dollar amount of all the federal contracts being out there, billions of dollars, that's a pretty good amount of money available just for an 8A small business. 5% go to women-owned small business. 5% or 3% go to, if you're in a hub zone, which is a highly underutilized business zone. So there's money out there for small businesses, and I highly encourage you to reach out to our SBA to find out more on that. So the SBA also assists in the different certifications for federal contract. As I was just mentioning some of those figures, the hub zone, women-owned small business, the SBA has their certification program. So if you are a small business and you're looking to become certified as a women-owned small business or a veteran-owned small business, you can do that through the certified.sba.gov. The SBA is responsible for reviewing those certifications. And you'll see that interesting fact up there. At least 23% of all prime contracting dollars are awarded to those small business contracting programs. As Juan was kind of mentioning earlier, what he had mentioned about the contractors being subcontractors initially, because it is very difficult as a new business to be awarded a government contract. So as Juan mentioned, sometimes working as a subcontractor gets you that experience and helps you to make the contacts that you're going to need within the federal government. And this leads us to one of our programs. It's called our All Small Mentor Protege Program. And essentially, that's a program where a small business works with a large business. So for example, you could be working with a multi-billion-dollar company as a small business, and through that, you're receiving mentorship. They're providing you with assistance on the key to running your business, learning from them, learning about the different opportunities, how to navigate the acquisition or bidding process on those contracts. And the SBA oversees that Small Mentor Protege Program as well. So that's an interesting program for those small businesses that may think they're too small to go out on their own. This is a great example of being able to partner with a large business that has the experience and then learning from them to eventually, like Juan said, go out on your own. So who can help? Of course, we have the SBA Business Opportunity Specialists in our Albuquerque office, but even more importantly, we have our PTACs, which are available in several areas throughout the state. Their primary goal is specifically to assist small businesses in becoming contract ready. So they will help your small business through the whole process from beginning to end on how to get into government contracting. They can help you with the different registrations in the programs, the certifications. They are there to help you, and it's 100% free. So if you are a small business that's ready to get into that contracting world, we do have our PTACs, our Procurement Technical Assistance Programs out there that can help you become contract ready. And then lastly, we get to our last C, which is capital, capital access. And so, of course, with any business, you're going to need money. Some folks may be fortunate enough to have enough money sitting in a savings account where they can start that small business and never need to borrow a single dime. But most small businesses, they tap into their savings, and eventually at some point they're going to need access to capital, okay? And so at the SBA, we have our SBA backed loans, okay? And I'm going to cover various aspects of our capital access programs. So you may need a business loan to either start, grow, or expand your business, okay? A lot of folks, the first method of financing their business comes from savings, credit cards, personal income, friends, family, but sometimes that might not be enough. You may need to consider taking on debt to start that business or grow and expand. So an SBA backed loan, one thing I want to make sure everyone understands, SBA does not lend any money directly. So we are not a lender. What we do is we provide a federal guarantee on those SBA loans. So you work with a normal financial institution, bank, credit union out in the community that is approved to do SBA loans. And in turn, what we do is when they make those loans, the SBA provides them a guarantee or an insurance on that loan. So if that loan were to go bad or the business fails, the debt can't be paid back, the SBA has significantly minimized the lender's risk by giving them that guarantee, essentially saying we'll pay you a certain percentage of your loss. So under the SBA Loan Program, lenders can make loans to businesses that wouldn't qualify conventionally, meaning just walking into a bank and applying for a small business. Our backed loans can be used for a number of different things, from starting, growing, expanding your business, purchasing an existing small business. Maybe you're out there and you work for someone in a specific industry and they're getting ready to retire. You have the experience and you're interested in purchasing that business. Our funds can be used to purchase an existing business. Equipment, renovations to facilities, inventory, land and real estate. So if you're interested in buying a building or constructing a building, we can help you with that. And then, of course, I always like our working capital line of credit. So many businesses out there, especially in a service type industry, a lot of times you may have a job, but you're not being paid for 30 or 60 days from completing that job, but you still have employees to pay, you still have electricity, utilities, insurance. So we do offer our revolving line of credit for working capital, where you can draw on that money to pay for those periods of time, and then of course pay that back down once you receive your income, and it becomes revolving. You're able to use that money again. And then we do have our exporting programs as well, which I'll cover a little bit further down. So the SBA, again, like I said, it increases your chances of securing a loan because of the different requirements that SBA has compared to a conventional small business loan. Some of the key things you're going to need, especially if you're a startup business looking to get started, every lender out there, they're going to want to see a business plan and financial statements, and of course financial projections. Because you're a startup, you don't have a proven track record, you don't have tax returns. So everything you have is going to be estimates or projections. And that's where you can connect with those resource partners that we covered earlier. You don't have to do this on your own. You have those resources there for you to help you put these things together. And I stress this, they're not going to do it for you. They will not hold your hand and do it for you, but they will walk alongside of you. They will be there to help you through the process. Another component here that SBA came out with a little less than 2 years ago is our lender match. So a lot of times small businesses, you're running your day-to-day operation. You don't have the time to take away from your busy schedules to drive around town and meet with different banks and find out who can help you with an SBA loan. So the SBA created our lender match system, and you'll see the website down at the bottom. But essentially what that lender match does is it allows you to visit the website, input what you're looking for as far as capital. What happens at that point is once you provide a brief description of what you're looking for, the type of business you're in, it goes out to our network of SBA lenders across the state, even nationally. Within 2 days, you should receive a reply from any lenders that are interested in helping you with that loan. So think of it like a Match.com. It essentially helps pair you with a lender that might be interested in helping you gain that capital access. So it helps you save time from having to go out on your own and meet face-to-face with different institutions. It's a quick way for you to send out your needs statement and have lenders contact you directly. And with our SBA loan programs, I do want to stress that our SBA loans, we don't make bad loans good. So if it's a bad loan and it's poor credit, things of that nature, the SBA still looks at those things. So it's not a 100% guarantee that you're going to get an SBA loan, but you have a higher chance of getting an SBA loan if these things here, the 5 C's, are taken care of. And that's character, cash flow, collateral, capitalizations, and conditions. I will tell you that working with our SBA lenders, some of the key things that they're going to always look at is character, which will include credit. But with our SBA loan programs, we do have an application that we do require you to fill out. And they will ask questions on background. Have you ever been arrested? Have you ever had a bankruptcy? All of those different types of character type questions. That doesn't keep you from getting an SBA loan, but those are things that we will look at. And then cash flow. At the end of the day, on an SBA loan, the most important thing is we want to ensure that the business has the ability to pay that debt, okay? Collateral is also important, but under the SBA loan programs, different from a conventional loan, we are not a collateral loan program. So if you are in an industry where you lease your space, you don't have a lot of fixed assets or equipment or real estate, you will never be denied an SBA loan for lack of collateral. The lender is required to take all available collateral, but a collateral shortfall is a perfect reason why you would use an SBA loan. Another interesting program that the SBA is involved in is our SBIR, STTR program, and that is specifically for research and development, okay? Primarily in your technology type industries, medical industries. There's 11 federal agencies that participate in this program. Some of them are Department of Energy, and there's various other federal agencies involved in this. And you'll see here the key areas for funding, like I said, you'll see they're primarily going to be in the sciences, education, and medical type fields. It is very highly competitive. But through that program, every year, $2.5 billion are available in federal funding to assist you in applying for the SBIR STTR program. So if you have a business or you have a concept that you're looking to do some R&D, build a prototype, like I said, it's very competitive, but this may be a program that you would want to look into because there is federal funding out there to help develop your product. And then finally, on our capital access side, if you are in government contracting, you're going to need to be bonded when you take on a contract. The SBA does have SBA bonding available, and that is specifically to help those small businesses that may not be able to get bonded on the conventional side through a bonding company, insurance company. Maybe you don't qualify on the conventional sense. SBA can assist those small businesses obtain bonding for their contracts. And so lastly here, the export programs. SBA also helps with exporting. So maybe you are a small business looking to grow and expand into other markets, okay? If you really look at the figures, 96% of consumers live outside the U.S. 2/3 of the world's purchasing power is in foreign countries. So the SBA has specific exporting programs that can assist you in helping your small business get into the export market. We have special loan programs for those businesses that want to export. And then we also have assistance through the SBA that can help get you into the market, provide you with various different resources in the export world. And you can find more information there at the bottom link there, the SBA.gov exporting.
And just so you know, Edward Herrera is our trade representative, and we do have a STEP grant, an SBA STEP grant. So he is leading currently various trade missions. I think Singapore food is coming up later this summer. So anyway, we do have that resource available through Edward Herrera, and you can go to our website to access that opportunity.
And you'll see we do have various assistance through the U.S. Export Assistance Centers, which we have available throughout the country. Also, the Small Business Development Center, which we talked about earlier, they are associated with the International Business Accelerator, which is located in Santa Teresa, New Mexico. And they're able to assist as well in getting into the export programs. And as Juan mentioned, the STEP program, specifically through the state, SBA does provide funding for that. And then, of course, I mentioned already the various export loans and capital access programs that we have.
And I should mention that I think the University of Texas expanded their U.S. Export Assistance Center, so now it covers New Mexico as well, I believe, and that resource is available.
Perfect. And so the U.S. Export Assistance Center that I have listed here is out of Denver, Colorado. That's also where our SBA export representative is as well. But as Juan said, it sounds like now you have a further resource out of Texas. So depending on where you're located, that could be very helpful for you. And then another thing, this is the final portion of the slides here, but it's triumph over adversity. We talked about that recover early on. So what exactly does recover mean? So a lot of you probably know of FEMA and the various other programs out there that assist when there is a disaster, okay? The SBA also has disaster programs available to individuals and entrepreneurs. An interesting fact is after a disaster, 25% of most businesses do not reopen. And that can be for various reasons, whether not having insurance or not having the capital to be able to get that business up and going. Of course, it's very important for businesses to protect themselves with an up-to-date plan of action. So you always want to be able to prepare for the worst and have a plan of how you're going to overcome that should something occur. So we do have our SBA disaster assistance loans. So about, I think it might have been a year, maybe a little more than a year ago, Santa Fe had some major flooding. And it was deemed a disaster zone. So the federal government, SBA, was able to help individuals and small businesses here in the Santa Fe area obtain capital through our disaster loans to help get their businesses going. But when I say individuals, a lot of folks probably haven't heard of this, but we also help individuals. So if you own, let's say you are not a business owner, but you have a home and that home becomes damaged, the SBA can also provide very low cost, low interest real estate loans to help you fix your personal residence. So not only do they assist with recovering your business, but they can also assist you with helping recover your home should it become damaged. And we have various different disasters across the country, unfortunately, every year. And so these resources are available to you.
And just so you know, how the process works at the state level is that local government will make a request to the governor for a disaster declaration, and if it meets the criteria, then the governor will make the declaration, and then that will trigger a federal assistance based on the established criteria for those sorts of things.
Yeah. And so that was the last of our slides there. We ended a little bit early, but I did that. Hopefully you all have some questions that we can help you get answered and really give this time for you all to ask those questions.
So Michael, I have a question.
Sure.
You mentioned bonding, and that's great, and I wasn't aware of that. So how does one access that bonding opportunity? Do you have a list of preferred bonding companies, or is it through your banking partners, or how does that work?
So what we do at SBA, we have a representative that covers our state with the SBA, specifically on bonding, out of Seattle, Washington. They cover the western portion of the state. So if we have a small business that's interested in the SBA bonding programs, we connect them with that resource, and then they help link them to the agencies within their state. So it's a warm handoff.
So we should reach out to you.
Yes.
The company will reach out to you, or we can connect them to you in your office. You'll talk with them and then get them in contact.
And then get them in contact with the correct channels.
Great.
All right, so type your questions into the box. We did have a couple of respondents earlier that Kenneth is representing New Mexico Opportunity Zone Fund. Drew Hey, Drew is looking for help to finance a liquor license. There is Mickey with an industrial hemp ventures looking for sources of funding for a new industry in New Mexico.
So that's an interesting point. What is the status of hemp at the federal level? I know it was recently added to the USDA. So in terms of accessing federal programs for hemp, how does that work?
So currently, right now, it's still considered illegal.
Yes.
So essentially, even though through the Farm Bill they have legalized the production of hemp, as far as on the federal level, until the DEA reclassifies it from a Schedule I narcotic, we can't do any funding necessarily. Okay. Now, that's on harvesting and production. Now, if you are in an industry where maybe you produce hemp rope or hemp clothing, things of that nature, that is eligible. But when it comes to just farming or producing of the agricultural type, currently we are unable to assist on that level until the DEA reclassifies that as a narcotic.
So on the agricultural side and on the products with regards to clothing and things like that, okay.
Right.
Oils, any consumable, not.
So CBD is not eligible yet under our program. So anything CBD. So even if you were a business, maybe you owned a convenience store, but you're gonna be selling CBD oils in your store, that would be illegal. You would not be able to sell those and get an SBA loan to help you run the business.
So let me throw another scenario at you, because we get this all the time, right? So I want to grow hemp, period. I can get a 504 loan to buy the property and that kind of stuff?
No. That would be ineligible. And one of the big reasons is that because really right now there is no regulation as far as testing. And so under the Farm Bill, that hemp can only have a certain amount of the actual marijuana properties, the THC. And so until there's more regulation as far as how they measure that, that's one of the big reasons why we're unable to do it, is because it has to be so minimal that the testing involved is not out there yet. There's no state regulator right now that goes in and tests those crops independently. The producers hire their own independent lab to do it. And so because of that, we consider that kind of, it could be a conflict of interest, as far as the independent lab testing. We would want something more regulated. So that would not be legal either. But if you purchase the hemp to produce the clothing, so you can't grow it, but let's say you make handbags or shoelaces or rope, you can purchase that and make the actual end product.
So potentially a 7A would be available.
Would be available for
that
like
activity.
that.
That was getting my
yes, correct.
Anticipated.
Yeah. And what about, Drew had the question about financing a liquor license. I know that there's issues around liquor stores.
So actually, liquor license would be allowable under the 7A Loan Program. So if you are part of now if you're just looking to buy a liquor license with no business, just to have it as an investment, because we know here in New Mexico, we don't issue new liquor licenses. They're very high cost. So if it was more of an investment to just hold on to that and then find someone to buy it, that would not be eligible. But if you are looking to open up a restaurant, pub, a convenience store, something of that nature where you need the liquor license, absolutely. A 7A loan program can help with that.
Okay.
And as an example, I just worked with a gentleman a couple months ago in helping him structure a deal to purchase a liquor license. He had been leasing the liquor license and now he wanted to purchase it. So that is allowable.
Okay.
As long as it's not for investment purposes.
One of the questions that someone had is how can they get connected? They're wanting to figure out potential lenders. I know you all have a list. Do you want to share?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned on one of the earlier slides, we do have that lender match tool available. which can connect you to lenders that might be interested. But we also have me and one of my colleagues in the Albuquerque office. You might have a better shot with reaching out to us. What we do is every quarter we compile a list of our SBA lender activity. So we're able to tell you which SBA lenders out in the community are the most active, okay? You will also want to probably reach out to us for the fact that most of our top lenders that do SBA loans, they have central operations. So you can't just walk into a branch and say, hey, I want an SBA loan. Some of them may say, I have no idea what that is, or I can't help you and I don't know who you need to talk to. So by contacting us, and there's my contact information on that slide, we can refer you to the direct contact within that banking institution that can help them with an SBA loan. And that saves time for them from having to track down who they need to talk to. As a federal government agency, we cannot refer business to a specific lender, but we can provide them with several options of who our top lenders are.
Okay. And
Just to tie into that, so Joanna mentioned earlier about funded small business, and one of the things that she's doing with that program is to do a kind of similar thing. So Michael mentioned the SBA network, which is a universe of banks that are associated with the products. But in the case of a funded small business, we want to kind of micro target that within New Mexico to include non-SBA lenders. So when you go to the funded small business, eventually when we get it set up, we'll be able to go down to credit unions and CDFIs and other non-SBA lenders to try to get as much access to capital that is possible. So it's not a redundancy. It's more of a micro targeting tool that we'll be doing hopefully by the fall.
yeah, and it's online.
It's online now,
Yeah.
so forget about the fall. But we're still enrolling a lot of lenders. And again, credit unions provide the most interesting opportunity, we think, for expanding access to capital. Traditionally, they had not been participating in commercial activities, and more are.
Okay. And just to expand on that, where to get an SBA loan. So I did want to also mention that we do have our alternative micro lenders available. So we have the Loan Fund, and we also have West that are able to do SBA microloans. So those are loans that are $50,000 or less. Okay. And the thing with that is these micro lenders are not federally regulated like a traditional bank. They don't have shareholders like a bank, and they have to, of course, be profitable and make, certain decisions based on this. These micro lenders, the alternative lenders, they can think more outside the box. They can be a little more creative in their financing. So for those individuals that maybe need a loan less than $50,000 and maybe don't fit the bank criteria, maybe credit's a little low, maybe they had a bankruptcy, a divorce, something happened. It doesn't mean they're poor in character. Life happened. These micro lenders may be able to help them by being more creative on their loan products. And then they're not a SBA funded program, but we also have Accion, who does our Community Advantage Loan Program, which are loans $250,000 or less. And they also have their own loan programs as well that are more creative type financing. So artisans and things of that nature, it's very hard to get a loan with the bank if you're an artisan, or maybe you make jewelry or paintings or pottery or something like that where you sell at markets. They have programs that may be able to assist them. So.
Okay. And Sandra just mentioned Accion too, so
Yeah.
you guys were thinking along the same road. And then you all have the SBA Resource Guide too, is that?
Yes.
And I know that lists all the SBA lenders per town.
Yeah.
So is that available online?
Yeah, so our SBA Resource Guide, we do get so many copies of print, and I brought you some today for
Okay.
you all. But typically those are distributed through the SBA district office when we do any outreach activities. And we also distribute those to our funded resource partners so that they can hand those out. But on our SBA website, sbanewmexico.gov website, you will find the electronic version of our current resource guide. And essentially, we think of that as an all-in-one informational packet. So it provides information on all the programs we covered today, as well as local resources with the state of New Mexico economic development programs, various other resources that are available that are non-federal. And then it does have a list of all of our SBA approved lenders broken down by city across New Mexico. But I still would highly recommend, don't be shy and afraid to give me a call. It will probably save you a lot more time giving me a call and allowing me to help point them into the right direction. We don't mind helping in that aspect. So.
We had a question from Kenneth, and it actually, we were having a discussion right before we started about opportunity zones, but he is asking, how does the SBA work with opportunity zones?
So right now, and Juan had kind of asked me this, so right now as far as on the capital access programs, there's really no benefit from being in an opportunity zone other than in the 504 loan program, which is our loan program specifically for real estate, construction, large type asset projects. They are required on the 504 loan program. The CDCs, which are certified development companies, we have two here in New Mexico, Enchantment Land and Certified Capital CDC. They're able to do these SBA 504 loans. So what Opportunity Zone has now done for those CDCs is because they are an economic impact program, they have to provide, create so many jobs through the loans, help, underserved markets. The Opportunity Zone has now created, if they make a loan in an Opportunity Zone, it helps them meet that requirement. But as far as any funding discounts or added money, there is nothing like that right now.
And I should mention that we had the conversation so there is a White House committee made up of a number of agencies, SBA being one of them. It's chaired by Housing and Urban Development, and they're actively looking at what kinds of things the agencies might be able to do in the future to incentivize, to provide additional incentives. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
We'll be having a conference in August, and so hopefully we'll have a lot more information on those activities. But do stay tuned on federal agencies with regards to opportunity zones and additional incentives.
Yeah. And I think primarily right now, the opportunity zones right now, a lot of the benefit really right now is more through IRS right now. So for tax benefits, for somebody that has, maybe liquidated a commercial business and had a lot of capital gains, it's a way for them to invest into an opportunity zone for tax purposes. And I'm not an accountant, so I don't want to get into any details, but I primarily right now, that's kind of one of the ways to assist those opportunity zones and help those that are looking to seek tax advantages.
Good advice. Talk to your accountant.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? If you do, you can, this is your last opportunity. And let's see, Noreen did say that she was asking about if we're going to send this out. And yes, we will send the presentation out in a PDF. And as well, we'll link to the YouTube recording on our YouTube playlist.
I just wanted to make a quick kind of plug and thank Joanna for putting this on. One of the ways people have asked, well, what do you, besides putting on these kind of webinars, how can we work with you guys, the state? And how you work with us is to contact us, and we ask you a lot of questions and we evaluate. And in some cases, it'll be a direct referral to Michael and his group. In other cases, we will refer you to the Small Business Development Centers or the SCORE, depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish. So what we do is work with all the partners. We assess what your needs are. You explain them to us, and we connect you to the right resources. On top of that, having one last plug for our collateral assistance program, our brand new guarantee program that so far has done about 5 loans around the state and looking at about 4 more in partnership with banks. So definitely contact us if you want to evaluation of what your needs are, or also find out more about it. And thank you, Joanna, for putting all these webinars on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here's some upcoming events that we have within the department. You'll be able to access these links. Our next funded community meeting is August 27th. You can apply online, and that is if you're a community and you have an economic development or infrastructure project and you want to pitch it in front of finance programs. We'll be meeting in Albuquerque at the MEP, and our next webinar series actually will be with the MEP. That's the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, and they have some great services and programs available to manufacturers. But that'll be August 29th. You can register online. The Funded Small Business. I didn't update that, but that'll be in Albuquerque actually in early November. And Juan mentioned Opportunity Zones Forum. That'll be August 27th, and that'll be in Albuquerque. And that'll be a great way for communities, businesses, anyone that's interested in learning about what the state is doing in regard to opportunity zones. They can attend that event. Then we'll also have our federal partners like SBA and HUD and some EDA, some other players. Will have tables there, and you can meet with them. It'll be educational. You can hear directly from some partners that can give you more insight about that. But we'll send the registration link out shortly. And then Juan mentioned the Collateral Assistance Program. We didn't go that into depth, but just think about it in terms of this is a great tool that helps guarantee loans. If there is a shortfall in collateral, we can fulfill that collateral shortfall in that gap and purchase a CD in a lending institute. So let's say there's a business that wants to get a $100,000 loan. They want to buy a piece of equipment, but as we know, banks aren't too happy about lending 100% on a piece of restaurant equipment. So maybe they're only going to recognize 70% of that piece of equipment. We could come in and purchase a $30,000 CD in the Lending Institute to get you 100% financing. And we've done some great deals with SBA loans already, 504s and 7A. So if you're interested in that, you can apply online, and hope to see you at some of those events coming up. And here's a map really quickly of our regional representatives that represent the Economic Development Department. You can access this online. They are located in our different regions, so they are the entrance and gateway into working with us, and they'll make the connections with you that you need. And then Main Street is a part of our department. They are a fantastic resource as well in some of the rural areas. This is our contact, Juan, my contact, Joel Salas, who's another development specialist, and then you can access our website and the finance team's website. And I don't see any more questions, so thanks again for tuning in, and thanks so much for Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks, Juan, and then we'll look forward to working with you. So take care.
Thank you very much.